Hey everybody, welcome back to another Gluttons for Geekdom Live. I'm Nick James, and today we're going to be talking some Ghostbusters. I'm going to do the 1984 and the 2016, but we're going to start off, obviously, with the main thing. Look how awesome. 84 for the number, if you can't see the sweet patch. Oh, so cool. Gozer on the back. Another sweet patch, 84. So good, isn't it? Thank you. Geeky jerseys. If you want to get one, they have tons. The one I really want for them to get come out that I'm hoping to get next will be a Batman. They have the 66 Batman's all black with the big, it's very cool. But no, we're going to be talking Ghostbusters today. First one, like I said, came out in 1984. Big part of a lot of people's childhood. This guy right here, definitely big. By the time I started watching it, it was already like 12 years old. So I started watching it maybe when I was 6. I was allowed to start getting into, maybe, I don't know, I'd have to double check. But Bill Murray was definitely somebody that I remember from a young age. He plays Peter Venkman. Then we got Ray Stantz, who's played by Dan Aykroyd, Egon, Spangler, Harold Ramis. Miss you, buddy, really do. Winston Zedmore, Ernie Hudson. If we want to cross streams a little bit, he also should be in the Black Panther movie as T'Challa. That would have been awesome too, but we know that won't happen, or T'Chaka. Not to get away from it. Something else I want to do at the start of this, so at the end, if I have any live viewers who want to ask questions, Ghostbusters, Ghostbusting, do you have any experience? Have you ever seen a ghost in your house? And at the very end, I'm going to tell you my ghostly experience, but think about some good ghost stories that you either experienced, you like to talk about, leave it in at the end before we get to it. I will try to hop on, see if anything happens. If not, I'll tell you mine, and then comment section at the very end. What's your experience with ghosts? Do you like Ghostbusters? Anyway, Rick Moranis and Sigourney Weaver are somebody who I left out of the original cast. I was just bringing up the Ghostbusters. So if you don't know anything about the movie, it's really awesome. Gozer, if you saw in the back, has like some sort of trans-dimensional portal that goes through Dana and Rick Moranis' building. And he's the keymaster and she's the gatekeeper. And it kind of sounds as weird as, in the way of stuff going and stuff. Ivan Reitman directed. He came back and he did the second one. I'm going to leave it to itself. I know I'm doing 2 movies today, but they're both called Ghostbusters, so might as well do them. Slimer was introduced, and of course, really just being a kid, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is the best villain. Like, Dan Aykroyd says it. How could something that innocent be? So you go, how can something so innocent be like bad? And he's just walking and he's happy, and then he gets blown up and he's all over the place. It's wonderful. This movie, I remember, was one of the things I love doing more than anything else is knowing weird stuff about movies, if you haven't been able to tell through the blog kind of thing. And I remember one of the earliest memories of having a moment like this is my dad saying, I don't want to watch the first one. Let's watch the second one that's got the Marshmallow Man in it. I said, no, that's the first one. And he's like, are you sure? And I said, I think so. And we actually made a quarter bet, penny bet, whatever you want. And I was right, and I was like, oh, I like doing that. So maybe that's where all this comes from. But more so than that, who didn't want a proton pack growing up? A friend of my sister's, her brother had one, and I was like, God, I wanted that so bad. I have one now. It's small. It's only really just the front handle, and it's a little projector. But still, even now looking at it, it brings me wonderful joy, because who wouldn't want that on your back? In an earlier episode we talked about, in Kevin Smith, I talked about great fears, and I'm not afraid of Freddy Krueger coming in. I am kind of afraid of ghosts in the sense that there is kind of some proof, but there's not really I don't know. It's one of those kind of gray areas. If you have any knowledge, like I said, drop it in, let me know. But being attacked by something you can't see does have a scary prospect, but that doesn't really make it a ghost, demon. I'm not 100% sure. Let's hop on over to 2016. This one was directed by Paul Feig. If you want to know, they didn't have. Everybody should start putting the how to pronounce on their Facebook, so when you go to it, it's very hard. That's why I go by Nick James. If you had to read my last name, I'd get a lot of weird ones. I'm 26 and I've been called a million different last names. Melissa McCarthy is in it, and she teamed up. Her and Paul Feig and Kristen Wiig had worked together. He did Bridesmaids. If you haven't seen Bridesmaids, one of the funniest movies. This kind of falls into that genre of comedy, where it's really, again, it's not really a buddy movie as a different kind of watching. I don't know. Leslie Jones and Kate McKinnon also join. Kate McKinnon is a very fun name to say. If you say Kate McKinnon a few times, Kate McKinnon is awesome. I don't really SNL too much anymore. You know, I'm one of those guys who's like, I liked it in the past, and I watch it every now and then. And you know, Kenan Thompson, somebody who I recognize. Bill Hader when he was on, he was funny. I like certain things. Will Ferrell when he, you know, but really I stick to the kind of origins if I want to really binge on it. So I didn't really know a lot about her. Now I do, and Kate McKinnon is quite wonderful to watch. Chris Hemsworth, Thor himself, gets in it, but he's not. He's really, really dumb. He just plays a dumb character, and it's wonderful because he's Thor. He is just a very muscular, well said. I'm gonna say it. He's a pretty man. So a pretty and then a dumb man, and yeah, at the very end, you know, he is taking more credit than he should, of course, you know, because that's what dumb characters do. And somebody throws a sandwich, and he goes, "A little help," and he freaking bomb, and a soda. No, it's wonderful. It makes it. It makes I love him in this movie. Now, as you heard all those previous names, all of them do come back, except for Mr. Ivan Reitman. You saw me cross myself. Jesus. Oh, I would have done it twice, but nobody get offended. I'm sorry if that does offend you, but that's how I pay respect to the dead. Please don't. But if you ever watch the 2016, look closely on the campus of where Kristen Wiig works, there is a bust of this person, and it is Harold Ramis. Bill Murray comes in as a naysayer, and he's like, no, there's no way that this is possible. The cab driver at the end was Dan Aykroyd, sorry, and then we find out that Leslie Jones's uncle, who lent them the car this whole time, the hearse that they turned into the Ghostbuster mobile, was indeed Ernie Hudson. And it's a nod. It's a nod off. And anybody naysaying, saying, oh, this is the worst thing to happen, because a lot of people, for some reason, didn't really enjoy the flick. I like it. I like it a lot, especially for the main reason, you know, it opens, and it looks like this place is going to be haunted, and one thing falls off, and you're like, oh no, it's going to be haunted. But it's more than that, because they say it's rigged, but then the door opens, and at the end, it's the man who's being scared, who's just facing towards it like this, with a big backlight, and dun-dun-dun, ah, ba-ba-ba-da-da-da-dun, like Ghostbusters. What the hell else? It felt exactly like a Ghostbuster should feel going into it. So I really can't see the problem. A lot of people didn't like if you see the Ghostbusters no emblem. Spoilers, if you haven't seen it, I can't see why you wouldn't. That's the main villain at the end. That's who the villain takes again in this way of the Stay Puft Man. He tries to mock what they fight. He becomes the mocking of the ghost in between. So it is a giant CGI ghost. But he kind of looks really badass. In my opinion, he looks like a Oogie Boogie, if you know Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, it looks like that kind of material, almost like a potato sack, if you will. And you know, they put him into the wormhole, and they do it, and Kate McKinnon's character is really awesome. She creates like things to fight them with, so they've got more than just this. You've got bombs going off, you've got Civil War people, you've got American Revolution, you got just stuff going through. You see New York old-timey. It obviously is done better in effects-wise. Slimer looks like you'd believe him more. There are more effects because that's the age that we're in, and that's another thing people didn't like. And it's like, guys, of course they were going to go that way. Why wouldn't you go that way? Hats off, do a second one. Now, if you don't do a second one, this is what I think you do. Do not reboot it again. We don't need an origin story about 4 people coming together going, maybe we should bust ghosts. Like Ghostbusters. Don't do that again. If anything, put these 4 women in a frame on a shelf. Put 4 dudes if you want. You know, that was the other thing. For some really strange reason, everybody's like, oh, they're all women. So, all right, make the next one half and half, or make it 3 and 1, 4 and whatever you got to do. I don't understand why that would really make that big of a difference. But put them, the 4 ladies, on a shelf and be like, hey guys, come on, Abby, Erin, Jilly, and Patty, they taught us what to do. We got to defend it, and put it in L.A. or put it in Florida and just make it a branch. You know, they did really well. We don't even have to go back to that if that's what it calls for. But I say screw that. Give them a sequel. If the sequel doesn't do better, then branch off. But don't origin again. Heard it here first. Ghost Heads. I don't know if anybody knows about that, but it is very awesome. It was on Netflix for a while. I can't guarantee that it's on right now still, but it is all about Ghostbusters fans and how to make proton packs and where to make proton packs and everything all about that. It's great. It makes me feel really good about what I'm doing right now, because if somebody on there saw this, they'd at least go, that's a cool jersey. Geeky jerseys would get a high five. And people would just know that I'm a Ghostbusters fan, and there's more out there, you know? People watching this going, look at that nerd. And I know, all right, that's cool. Thank you, sir. Sorry about, you know, we didn't like that, what I was doing. But they might, at least, you know, it's just spreading joy about watching dudes or chicks with no distinguishing fact with giant backpacks just do like, let it be. It was a great movie. Sorry for getting a little bit. I don't know if anybody typed in for the ghost story. No ghost stories out there, so I'm going to tell mine. Comment on it. If not, bring another ghost story. Live again tomorrow, 4:30. This is how we're definitely going to sign out. One time when I was in high school, I was summer vacation. I had to make ribs because I was in culinary school, so I was really good at that. So know that I knew what I was doing. Put frozen ribs in there, low, to start bringing them up. Had to run somewhere. Around the corner. Back in 10 minutes, ribs were ash without anything being touched. That oven wasn't even too hot to touch. They were frozen. That seems like some... I really don't know anything about how that would be done. Maybe even one more for that one. You know, maybe that one's science. I was coming downstairs one time, and like as you come down the stairs, to the right is a bar area. And as I do, I hear voices like, oh, the TV's on, because this is the bar area, but the TV was over there. And shh, he's coming, and I come downstairs, and oh, God. There was nobody down there. But I definitely heard, shh, he's coming. Do you have any ghost stories? Did you need Ghostbusters at any time? Comment down below. Let us know at Gluttons4Geekdom. You can tweet us at GluttonousGeeks. Instagram, Gluttons4Geekdom. Anything that you want, let us know. Nick James, stay puffed. Stay puffed. And who are you going to call?